He has a, he can go out in July, but he's decided, that's what we talked about last year. He retired. But now he's changed his tune since the new year. I don't think I'm ready for him to be home all the time. Go back to work. Be a safety guy. What were you going to say? Oh, that way you missed.
There you are. Hello. Ready? It's a little fast, I guess. Okay.
Good evening. I'd like to open the Planning Commission meeting for February 20th, 2024 in session. First order of business is a moment of silence and the pledge to the flag. If you would please rise as you are able. For a moment of silence. Thank you very much. If you turn with me towards the flag and repeat as I say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Ms. Berry, if you could call the roll, please.
Ms. Townsend?
Here.
Ms. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Moyer?
Here.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. La Rochelle?
Here.
Dr. Schmidt? Mr. Davis?
Here.
Ms. Rose?
Here.
Reverend Hathaway?
Here.
Mr. Bennett?
Here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our item on the agenda now is the approval of the minutes for the Planning Commission of January 16th, 2024. Are there any additions, corrections, or edits that needs to be accomplished to those minutes?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Page 10, the fourth or fifth paragraph down where it says Mr. Larson left hangers. The second sentence says, Mr. Hathaway said they all have aircrafts, plural. Pretty sure that should be, strike the S on aircrafts. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Larshell. Any other commissioners? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes with the corrections made by Mr. La Rochelle.
The motion is to accept the minutes as edited. Ms. Berry?
Mr. La Rochelle?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Aye.
Ms. Townsend?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Reverend Hathaway?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Stay.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye. Our next item on the agenda is citizens' comment period, and Ms. Kelly LaDuke, if you would check on that, please. Thank you very much. Okay. I will close the citizens' comment period. The sixth item of the agenda is presentations. I know of none, and that's been confirmed. And we'll move right on along to seventh item on the agenda is unfinished business. It's on the amendment to the bylaws. Is that you or me or me? Okay. So at the request of Reverend Hathaway, there was a slight amendment suggested to the bylaws. They were highlighted in the packet on page 5 and page 6, where instead of a number of individuals, it is identified as 3 or more individuals will be considered as a group. That's both true in paragraph 4 on page 5 and paragraph D on page 6. Any more discussion on that matter? And if it is agreeable, we'd like to have a motion on the acceptance of the bylaws.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the bylaws as presented.
I would hope so, since you made mention of it. Any discussion? The motion is to approve the bylaws as amended. Roll call, Ms. Berry.
Mr. La Rochelle?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt? Aye. Ms. Johnson? Aye. Mr. Dombrowski?
Aye.
Ms. Townsend?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Reverend Hathaway?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas? Aye. Mr. Bennett?
Aye, thank you. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is public hearings. Before I turn the floor over to Ms. Rose, I'd like to mention to everybody that the main purpose of the Planning Commission is to discuss and make decisions of appropriate land uses based upon forecasting and imagineering and the guardianship of the comprehensive plan without political influence. We're also to be a conduit and sounding board to and for the Board of Supervisors, and we're also to be an advisor to the Board of Supervisors. With that being said, I will turn the floor now over to Ms. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have one public hearing before us. Each has been properly advertised for tonight's consideration. Let me take a moment to review the procedures that we will use for tonight's hearing. Each public hearing will be considered separately. Staff will give a brief overview of the hearing that is before us. The sponsor of the case will be given an opportunity to make a presentation. The commissioners will then be given an opportunity to ask questions of the sponsors or staff for clarification purposes. I will then open the citizens' comment portion of the public hearing and receive your comments. Sign-up sheets are located on the desk at the front doors of the admin building. I ask the following. You come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. When the timer sounds, please conclude your remarks. Please note that the commission members will not answer any of the questions during the citizen comment period, but will certainly take those questions and comments into consideration during the deliberation period for the public hearing. So with that, I will open the public hearing for application CUP 01-24, dog training and boarding facility as a home occupation.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rose. Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to give a brief overview, like Ms. Rose said, and then I want to introduce you to Mr. Jackson, who is here tonight. Mr. Stephen Jackson has requested a conditional use permit to train and board canines that do not belong to him on his property, which is located at 4653 Hopewell Road, near the Hanover County line. The property is zoned A1 and consists of approximately 6 acres. Section 98-16C of the zoning ordinance allows the Board of Supervisors to authorize, by conditional use permit, the enlargement or expansion or intensification or operation of home occupations beyond the limits otherwise specified in the ordinance. A use of this type is allowed in the A1 zoning district with a conditional use permit. The applicant has no intention of working with more than 6 dogs at any one time, and that is also a proposed condition of the permit. The standards for review of CUPs are set forth in Section 98-744 of the Code and are listed in your staff memo. Staff received no public comments or any concerns from any of the reviewing agencies. There are 6 suggested conditions listed in Resolution PC-0324. These conditions will assist in addressing, protecting, and promoting health, safety, and the general welfare of New Kent County citizens, as well as the dogs. And I'll introduce Mr. Stephen Jackson. I'll be here to answer any questions.
Good evening. I'm Stephen Jackson with 4653 Hopewell Road. I'm requesting a permit for conditional use to train dogs on my property. Been training dogs for 17 years. Worked in the veterinary field for 17 years as well. I've talked to neighbors. I've had really good community support. Everybody's been very welcoming and in support. So that's a brief rundown. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we, actually, we'll go ahead and hear any questions or comments from the commission. Any questions or comments for either the sponsor or staff?
Chairman, I have a question, and it would be of the applicant. Are you going to have dog runs outside of the facility?
No, they'll be indoor. Sorry about that. They would be indoor only.
And all of the training take place indoors or outdoors?
That would be indoors and outdoors, and some of that would also include like off-site, like at parks and in public and things like that.
And during the outdoor training, all dogs will be sort of confined to an area unless the dog were to get loose from you?
Yes, ma'am. I have fenced-in property.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson, how far is the nearest house from where you would be?
It's several hundred yards. We have a wood buffer around all of our property, and then we have a hay farm that's also there. With the closest one's probably a rancher in the middle of the hay field, and it's, I would say, at least 200 or 300 yards from our property.
Madam Chair, question. I guess this is for staff. So it's a staff recommendation, I guess, to maintain the existing undisturbed vegetative buffer. What constitutes that? Is there a certain width or distance from the property line? It's not specified, or is it in the?
It's not specified. We don't have any requirements for that, but if you look at the aerial photo, you can see, so this is his property right here. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot. We just felt that that would be a condition to maintain it, to help with the noise
So
abatement.
does that mean he cannot cut any more trees down on his property, I guess? Is he limited to, if he wanted to add another building or do something like that, would this restrict him from doing that? As far
If
as
it's in the
clearing?
permit, yeah.
And I guess for the applicant, I mean, do you have any future intentions on?
At this time, we have no plans to change. We've got a decent amount of yard. Sorry, at this time, we have no plans to change the property. We kind of like it private. We have a decent amount you'll see that's cleared on there. We own all of the woods as well to that hay field. Again, that closest neighbor is the one you'll see in the middle of the field. But we have no intentions to change the property at this time.
And it's suitable to you based on this recommendation that you were not going to be able
Yes.
to clear anything? in
Yes.
essence?
As it sits, it's suitable for us. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Mr. Jackson? At what point would you consider this operation not a home-bred operation, but more commercial?
I think if I became more of a high-capacity kennel, I'm the only one that trains, and I have no intentions to change that. So I can only take on so much at a time. So I intend to stay at a much smaller capacity.
So in excess of 6 dogs or canines?
Yes,
More
sir.
than 6? More than 6 canines? You would,
No, I would probably do up to 6.
okay. Are you planning to have any employees?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
I have another
I think
question.
that's the end of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Jackson, I'll ask you to, again, what type of, are you training service dogs or pleasure dogs? And will you be boarding any dogs?
So dogs would only be staying for the training specifically. I do mostly pet dogs, pet companion dogs, family dogs. I do occasionally get service dogs in for like prerequisites. I don't do specific task work for service dogs. I leave that to service dog specific trainers. But I do public access and obedience. And then for pet dogs, I also do some behavior modification, but it's basically a heavy obedience program.
Okay. And there will be, but you will not be like a weekend boarder if somebody's going on vacation? You won't-
Correct. I do not intend to be a commercial boarding facility, no ma'am.
Okay.
One more question, I'm sorry. Do you intend to breed?
No, sir.
Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jackson, thank you so much. I noticed in your response that you said probably up to 6. Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. Me being the only trainer, it would be very difficult for me to do good quality work with anything over 6, being that I'm doing all of the work. So at this time, I may average 4 dogs, depending on what the dogs are present for, which is why I would probably use the word probably up to 6, but I have no intentions to do above 6 per at one time. And the dogs typically come to me for 3 to 4 weeks on average, so it would be 6 per program, up to 6, sorry.
Madam Chair, any particular breed that you work with?
I work with all breeds.
So it's not, you're not specific to anything, it's just,
No, sir.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I have a question. Mr. Jackson, do you plan on doing this? Is this a full-time load for you, or is it something, do you have, like, in other words, are you going to be maintaining this throughout the day, like, let's just say 5 days a week, or is this a part-time?
This is my job. This is my full-time job.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I also do mobile training, meaning I go to people's houses outside of this permit. I have a business license where I go to people's houses and things like that for training as well, for private coaching. You're welcome. Thank you.
Hearing no other comments or questions, open the public comment portion of the hearing. Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, guys.
Ms. Leduc indicated that there are no other public comments, so I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Turn it back over to Mr. Bennett.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Discussion or motion?
Mr. Bennett, I make a motion to approve in the order to address and protect and promote public convenience, necessity, general welfare, and good zoning practices in the county. I move to adopt resolution number PC 0324 to forward application CUP 0124 to the New Kent County Board of Supervisors with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, sir. The motion is to approve. Again, is there any further discussion? Ms. Berry, call the roll, please.
Mr. La Rochelle?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Abstain.
Ms. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Aye.
Ms. Townsend?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Reverend Hathaway?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye. Thank you very much. The motion's passed. Mr. Jackson, you'll be heard, I believe, next month at the Board of Supervisors. Is that correct, Kelly? Yep. Good luck there, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Very well. On to the next item on their agenda is new business. Ms. Inman, Ms. Leduc, any new business? I'm sorry?
That's okay.
Any new business?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay.
Nothing.
New business for the commission? No? All right. I will not have a chairman's report. That's item number 10. Item number 11, Reverend Hathaway, any report from Plan RVA, sir?
I attended my first meeting, actually got the time wrong.
Okay.
I thought it was 9 o'clock, so I arrived at 8:30 in time for the executive committee. They let me sit in.
Oh, good.
So I thought that was really good. In Plan RVA, I was appointed to the Public Outreach Committee. Excuse me.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. I was appointed to the Public Outreach Committee, and I like that. They did most of the orientation for the new members. I think I'm going to enjoy being on that.
Then you were right, the right appointee. Thank you very much, sir. Commissioners report. I'll go round table and start with Mr. La Rochelle.
Nothing to report, sir.
Thank you very much. Ms. Thomas.
Nothing.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Johnson.
Nothing to report.
Dr. Schmidt. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. Ms. Townsend.
Yes, I would just like to say that I'm looking forward to the future endeavors of the highway correction on Route 249 and Dispatch and Henpeck Road.
Okay. Things got a little ways to go, doesn't it, Mr. Moyer? At least there's a clock that's counting down, right? That could be. Mr. Dombrowski.
Nothing to report. Thank you all to the commissioners.
Sure. Ms. Rose.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Davis.
Brief report on the comprehensive plan update committee. The full committee did meet since our last planning commission meeting. The vendors, EPR, Todd Gordon, reviewed the discussion on mainly transportation related issues or concerns or public input. Thank you.
We each
we get one strike, right?
We each have to be the other's mic monitor, okay?
Yes. Lost my train. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Now, so again, discussed transportation issues and public input. Had a bit of a discussion within the committee itself, which was good, with Mr. Gordon and staff. They also presented some visual aids for us, of course, results of the public input on transportation issues or concerns, as well as they did some street view mock-ups, which was something that we'll probably include in the comp plan when we're done with it. So give developers, designers, and citizens an idea of what to expect maybe on some of our roadways, depending on where they're located in the county. Also talked about other forms of transportation other than the most obvious as far as by automobile or vehicle, including some shared path options that we may move forward with or look forward to doing, as well as, of course, sidewalks in some of the village areas and so on and so forth. But again, that meeting was mostly or almost exclusively transportation-related issues, and we did have another Zoom meeting scheduled for tomorrow, but I think we're going to move, so we keep moving forward, and hopefully we'll have something to present sooner rather than later now. So we're well over halfway in the process. Doesn't seem like it's taken that long at this point, but it's been a while now. So anyway, if anybody, of course, has any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Reverend Hathaway.
I attended that comp plan review, and the takeaway for me was how important what we do is and the opportunities it affords people in the future. In 2001, we actually talked about the traffic on 249, and we looked at a highway overlay district so that people wouldn't build right up on the highway, and we declined to do that. And it just came to me that if we had done that, perhaps it would have opened up some opportunities today.
Right, because there was a bit of discussion too on acquisition of right-of-ways. If we need to do anything as far as to expand what goes along with alongside the roadway, including utilities and certainly sidewalks and things like that. So that would have been nice, yes.
Thank you, Reverend Hathaway. Mr. Moyer.
I guess I should give a little update on what we do at the Board of Supervisors meeting that has to do with what you sent us. As the Planning Commission, you sent us a 6-4 vote of recommendation for Liberty Landing, and we voted 5-0 to decline it. And to put that in perspective, the Farms of New Kent was 0-9 by the Planning Commission and passed 3-2. So there are different ways of looking at what the source of the issue is, whether it's a site plan or if it's the need of the community. The other thing was the New Leaf solar project behind the jail was also a 5-0 to decline that. Then in other news, we have gone, we are getting further along in our ability to fund the whole project of the GAP, meaning the 29 miles, and of 64, expanding it to 3 lanes on both sides. And also, we had some success in getting some funding for the 106 interchange, which is going to be kind of a special situation because we're going to be dealing with AutoZone, Buc-ee's, and also a yet to be determined distribution center that is also has site plans out there. So that should work out pretty good. So I don't have it any bigger in that, but there is, some of you can see it. This is the sign that VDOT is putting up for, yeah, I knew you were going to do that. There is a sign that will be put up that says Patricia A. Page Memorial Highway. That will be at our line with Henrico and our line with James City County. Right now, there is a sign also that will stay there, that it was funded by VDOT, Richmond Regional Transportation, and also the Central Virginia Transit Authority. So, but that's a big deal, big deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moyer. Staff reports, item number 13.
Not much to report. If you have any questions about the plan review spreadsheet for the new people, we try to include a monthly kind of snapshot of what we're doing, what we're looking at down in the planning department as far as subdivisions and site plans go. If you have any questions about any of those, feel free to give us a call. As far as next month's meeting, I did not get any new applications in, so we might take a spring break for March. I guess we'll see if anything comes up in the next couple of weeks. But as far as public hearings, we won't have any.
So is the county flipping for the trip down to Florida?
Sure.
Oh, I forgot.
Better go to Rosie's and see if you can win some cash.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Duke. Item number 14, the next regular scheduled meeting, which may or may not occur, shall be on Monday, March 18th at 6:30. You will have, oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, can I put a little food for thought on the table?
Certainly.
All right, I know, well, y'all know I have highway issues, okay? But looking at 249 going towards Tunstall Road, we have a lot of traffic coming off of Interstate 64 going through that dispatcher area, Henpeck, and down to Tunstall.
Mm-hmm.
It, to me, would be a logical thing to do while we're doing this enhancement on Interstate 64 if we were to put another exit ramp on Tunstall Road or Airport Road. One, that would open up the business for the airport, but also the people that don't need to travel through the Quinton area can go down further to where they're going to like Kentwood Farms or Kent Farms and Deer Lake and all those other subdivisions. It would alleviate a lot of congestion. And it's just food for thought, and I don't know how it would happen, but I just would like for people to think about it, that could be a possibility to eliminate a lot of traffic in the Bottoms Bridge area right now.
Interesting consideration. Maybe that's something we could point out to the comprehensive plan group. Let's try it that way first. Let's get the dialogue rolling.
Thank you. I would think that would be an advantage for all of the people in New Kent, especially at that end of the county, if you're moving traffic and dispersing it a little bit.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend. Now, where was it? Oh, March 18th, 2024 at 6:30, if indeed. If not, you will get correspondence saying it is not to occur. If I have a motion, I can adjourn this meeting. You have it. Meeting has been adjourned at 6:58. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. All right, guys. Yep.
Will that do those who have opportunities afterwards?